What if I told you that you could make your coaching offers profitable from ads before you even pitch your main offer? In this video, I'll show you exactly how we did it. So here's the situation. My client was spending about $1,000 to $2,000 per month in ads, and we were getting leads between $2 and $5 per lead. Now, that sounds pretty decent, right? Except the thing was that basically those leads were maybe turning into clients, maybe they weren't. Some wouldn't buy for 30, 60, 90 days if they ever did. So the problem was that we had plenty of leads, but they were all cold. So we were trying to work on these cold leads, nurturing them, and the sales team was spending hours and hours, and we were spending thousands of dollars nurturing these leads to have them maybe buy something at some point. Instead of trying to nurture these leads, what we did was something a little bit different. Try and just have them buy something right at the outset. What we did next might be a little bit counterintuitive, but we said, hey, you know what? Let's scrap the whole lead nurture and let's just get people to buy stuff right at the beginning. And that set us out on a course that would take about a year to actually come to fruition. So eventually we created this beta program for $27. And you might be thinking, $27, like how's that gonna work? How's that gonna create wealth? How's that going to solve anything? So by the time that we started doing this, we were spending about $2,000 a month in ads. And what that meant is that basically it was costing us about $500 to get a new sale. So each month we could only really from ads get 4 new purchases to this higher ticket program. Sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more. But all in all, it was a little bit stuck and stagnant. When you factor in everything that the company needed in order to sustain itself, it really just didn't make a lot of sense, because basically, if we can only spend $2,000 to get a little bit of profit from clients, it just wasn't working. So that was the old way. The new way, flash forward in December, we spent about $4,200, and right from that front end $27 offer, we made about $8,500. So that's a nice 2x return from ad spend before even pitching our high ticket offer. Plus, our leads had already bought something, and so they weren't just tire kickers or maybe somedayers. These were people that were really taking action and ready to get started on their problem. And from there, people started booking calls. And we had people ascending into a $250 offer, and even a $1,000, $1,500, and even $2,500 offer. So I know you might be wondering, okay, but like, how do you structure this? What did you do? I'm going to get to that right now. So we have basically a 3-phase process that I've developed here in order for you to go out and do this for yourself and your own coaching company. The first lesson, don't give up. Just for reference, it took us about 10 different offers with 20 different price points in order to eventually land on this $27 6-week experience that is now crushing it for the client. So don't give up, keep going, and follow through on these steps here. So I'll share with you a little bit of why we ended up on this $27 for 6 weeks program. And the reason is because basically we started off going at like $247, and we were trying to get purchases at $247 for a 6-week course or a online tutorial kind of course. And the reason why that wasn't working, we were getting purchases and maybe they were even like almost profitable, like they were breaking even. But the problem was we just weren't getting nearly enough of those leads in order to potentially ascend them into a higher ticket program, right? So even if we were spending $250 a day on ads, which would have been a lot at the time for this company, is that we would have gotten 1 purchase a day, but then we only have 30 total leads to nurture and follow up with. And just going by probability, we're still looking at only 3% of that converting over the next 30 days. So that's one person maybe, converting into a high ticket program. So it's just still not profitable. Then we tried lowering the price, and we tried 47, we tried 97, and we were also changing the different offers. So instead of 6 weeks, we actually tried a year at $97 for live coaching, tutorials, and I'll talk about the offer in a minute and what's included. We tried out this 1-year offer for $97, and that was actually working. The only problem was that it was a year. So people were getting started and then they were not continuing. Or like they were like, oh, I don't want to ascend because I still have a year of this to go, right? And so we were getting lots of people into that $97 program, but then no one was converting, which was the real problem. Price point and timeline is one of the challenges that you might have when you're creating this low ticket offer for you to have a self-liquidating offer at the front of your funnel. But the second piece here is not going deep enough with your niche. And so we thought that because this was already a very niche skill, like my client teaches handstands and contortion to their clients, right? So already we're like, that's niche. We don't need to go even more niche. Wrong. So inside of that's not it. So inside of that niche, we actually discovered that we weren't going deep enough onto our niche, and that we needed to go for specifically beginners, people who were at a very specific stage of their journey in that skill set in order to get to the next level. Because before we were just talking about like handstands and flexibility more broadly, right? We were talking about the niche in a more broad sense, and it just wasn't working. It just was not giving, it just wasn't converting people because it just wasn't specific enough. Then we started going to the specific pains and problems of the target audience, right? Of that beginner person at the beginning of that skill. And that's when we started to see sales really start coming in, really start becoming consistent. And additionally, we separated out that advanced group from the more beginner group because they're going to need different offerings. So through different trials and tests and ads and offers and price points, we eventually landed on the $27 for 6 weeks of some live coaching, some tutorials, and some messenger access. And that's what the 6 weeks contained. So once we tried this out, $27 for 6 weeks, something started to click. We had edited the page to make it specifically for beginners. The price point was just right to have it be enough for people to feel committed to actually show up to classes. And then the sales started coming in. And not only did they start coming in consistently, we were making a profit on each sale. Each sale was coming in for about $12 to $15, which, if you can do the math, 27 minus 12 is 15. I think I can do the math. Anyway, it's about 2. It's about 1.8 to 2x. And so basically we were able to spend $4,500 and make $9,000 even before we have the higher ticket sales. And, you know, like I was saying, with the problem with the $247 program is that, you know, we were only getting, even if we got one purchase a day, that's only 30 sales. But with this lower ticket offer, we could spend $250 a day, and we were getting about 10 to 20 purchases, 10 to 20 buyers per day. And we've been able to ramp up ad spend a little bit more and a little bit more, and we're slowly working on that. But now we have about 700 people who have purchased something from my client, and now we're starting to get conversions of people who are buying the $1,000 offer, another $250 offer, and that's coming in more and more and more consistently. So here's some key takeaways that you should bring into your testing and your offer creation. Number one, for your offer, you want to include some tutorials, you want to include some direct messaging access or community access, and you want to include some kind of live class, live experience. That's what's been working for us in this offer. Second lesson is to just keep on testing. Don't stop, just keep going. When things aren't working, just know that you could be 5 inches from diamond, one price tweak, one offer tweak, one landing page copy tweak, and you could be creating profitable ads for your coaching business. And in the next video, somewhere over here, I'm going to go through and walk through the exact funnel that has been working for this client. I'm breaking down each of the sections so that you can write your own or hire me to help you with it, whatever you want to do. I hope you get out there, start testing out some offers.